We need to talk about architectural services and also what kind of high school we're going to have, or what kind of facility we're going to have to support the grade span of 9 to 12. Mr. Sparky.
Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. I think the board's familiar with me. I'm Mike Sparky, and with me now is Darren Taylor. And Darren and I have been working for the past week to put together some information for you tonight. I would like to report that progress has been made. The previous project that we initiated is complete now, and we have more teaching space to place partitions in some of the classrooms and allow more curriculum space. So I thought that was a big success. We worked with the building inspector to get occupancy, and I believe education was in. So I thought that went really well. There's a few documents that we gave you tonight, so I just want to walk you through what you have so there's no confusion. The first handout was a BG1, and it's a one-page document, and this is actually the financial page of the document. BG1 actually now is 2 pages. It used to be 3, and the Department of Education has edited that, so it's just 2 pages now. So it's a little bit more simple. So that page was generated by Joe Nance, and it is basically the financial summary that would be proposed. The second document, I believe, was an 11-page document that's stapled that I put together, and there's on the cover is a summary of recommended board actions, and then the backup of those board actions is in the packet. Now, I will tell you that the BG1 that I just passed out is actually repeated in here. I would ask you to direct your attention to the first one, because it was generated by your fiscal agents, and it's more accurate than that. So in the packet, I'll just run down the items in the packet and give you a summary on that. The first one is for the board to consider hiring my architecture firm, All32. We've been with the district for many years, and we enjoy that relationship. I think it's been a good one, and we look forward to continuing to work. Number two and number 3 are actually together. We did work with 2 contractors to get the work done at the IMS school, and it went really well. Both those contractors were very cooperative and worked hard. And this is just a formalization of that agreement to get that formalized. I suspect that the Department of Education will want to see that. That's the reason I put that in the agenda, even though it's retroactive. We kind of get things when we can and move that project along as quickly as we could. The fourth item is to approve revised BG1. With every capital construction project, there's an estimated construction cost and there's an actual cost. Once you get bids and you actually have contractors who do work, we actually know what the numbers are. The Department of Education asks us to formalize that with revised BG1. And then you'll look on and you'll see item number 5 is the BG4. And the BG4 is the closeout document. So the facilities branch with the Department of Education likes to have their documents, and they like to know that there's been a closeout. So the BG4 simply recognizes that the contract sum remained the same and it didn't increase, or if it did, it was change order, and it acknowledges all that. It's a summary. And then item number 6 is to consider an approval of an initial BG1 for the renovation of Sheldon Park High School, which is formerly IMS Middle School. And that would be a new project, and that represents what the superintendent discussed at the beginning. That's the project that's best described on the 11 by 17 handout. So if you were to look at the 11 by 17 handout, you'll see it's a floor plan, and there are 3 areas on the plan that are shaded, and they represent 3 areas that we would recommend for consideration to make improvements. I've walked the building several times. Darren and I have walked through it, and Superintendent Meadows and myself walked through it. Larry James, we walked through it. We've met with the school principal, and we've discussed what would help the teaching needs, what would help the curriculum in the school and the teaching needs. So We've identified 3 areas that could be improved drastically with a relatively modest amount of money. Over on the left side of the page, you'll see a shaded area that represents what used to be a vocational tech ed classroom. There's a series of low partitions in there that divide the space up and make it less flexible, so we recommend taking those out. In the middle, the gray area is shaded with the cafeteria and kitchen. The cafeteria and the kitchen in the school are extremely modestly sized, if not just undersized dramatically, and we recommend making that larger. Whether that's an elementary school, whether it's middle school, whether it's a high school, those spaces are deficient in size to serve the population of the school. So that's an area of interest for us, and we recommend renovating and adding on to allow better services for the students in the school with the cafeteria and kitchen. And then over on the right, you see a shaded area that represents space below the mezzanine. If you're familiar with the school, at the end of the gym, we have locker rooms and some restrooms and office area. Above, there's an open space that's kind of a mezzanine space that you get to via a ladder, and it's really kind of a storage area right now. But you heat it and you cool it, and there's an opportunity there to claim that space and make it more useful for the school. So our recommendation after meeting with the school leadership is to claim that space and divide it up, make classroom space up there, and provide egress from the space, access to egress from the space. So on the drawings tonight, you will not see any design work. We've simply identified the areas, but I have done a cost estimate, and that estimate is reflected on the PG1. And we were talking about the estimate earlier, and I think it's a conservative estimate. We provide a cost estimate of phases of the work. So when we get into the project, we discover more about it, we measure it, we draw it up, we talk to a few people about prices, we give you a revised estimate. So that'll get refined. So right now, it approaches the bonding potential number that you currently have, and that's intentional. I think if you ask me, will that come up or go down, I think it might come down in cost. But I would really want to get in there and measure and design some stuff first before I make it. But that's where we are with the work at the high school, and that's a summary.
I think what we have on the table here before us tonight, board number 2 and 3 on that top sheet.
Can I ask a question? I heard tonight that there's $40,000 that's going to come from the judge's office of science, and I am wondering about how that is that in your plan? I didn't hear anything about that, and I know they talked about portable labs, which is very upsetting to the science department, but I didn't hear anything from him about it.
No, because he's not part of that $40,000, doesn't he? That's not what it's included.
I mean,
But
well,
this is the first time I've heard that someone was upset about the portable standalone stations.
well, from what we understand, the portable standalone stations have 20 minutes worth of gas in a little thing, and then the teacher will have to fill it up with water so the children can pump the water. And then when the lab is done, the teacher will have to take the water out. And then that would be 8 of those per lab that she would be.
I'm not sure, but we're bringing in one. I know that you may have looked at it. It's the first time I've known that you're, or anyone upset with the station.
Yeah,
what we're trying to do is to address the immediate need, because every day that goes by, our students don't have adequate facilities to learn their content in.
I just want to make sure that if the $40,000 was going for something that we knew what.
They are earmarked right now for those lab stations. We're bringing one in. We're going to evaluate that one lab station. If it is not adequate for our needs, our immediate needs, then why would we buy it?
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't.
Thank you. Okay, so the number 2 and 3 is really a revised BG1 that brings in the costs. What page was that, Mr. Sparky? This will be resubmitted to KDE. It's on page 5 of 11 there.
Yes.
I think down at the bottom it may say 3 of 3, but up at the top right hand corner is 5 of 11. That's really a revised BG1 that was already approved. What Mr. Sparkin wants to do is just submit an actual BG1 to KDE. So I would recommend that being one of the motions.
Yeah, and that's consistent with policy, with procedures manual of KDE.
I would make that proof what has been done with the revised BG1 first, and then we can move on to something else. So I'm asking that.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the BG1 for items 2 and 3 for the work that's already been done. I need a motion to approve that. I'll make a motion. I have a motion, need a second.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Any opposed?
Okay, items 1, 4, 5, and 6. I believe, my advice to the board is to table these items for architectural services and the BG1 going forward. It's my recommendation, and I do that because of this, and I'm probably throwing Mr. Sparkler off here, but I really would like to have the board come over to the high school, grades 9 and 12, and do a walkthrough together. I think you really need to see where the kids are now and what the instructional space is being used for, what we have available, rather than looking at these pictures and hearing us go on and on of what we need, what we think we need. You really need to go through that building together and see the facilities that we have right now. You need to see that mezzanine. You need to ask the questions before we go forward. And as Mike hasn't put any specific plans on here yet, but I would feel more comfortable if the board did look at the facilities that were over there. That'd give you an opportunity to think about going forward also on the bonding potential, on the $1.5 million that we do have available today to do this. And also, I think we'll need a time frame of when the work could be done, because it does have an impact on whether we expend $40,000 for a science lab or whether we can get that installed through this BG1 with $1.5 million.
We'll table that.
I would ask that we table the remainder of those items.
Is the board agreeable to do that?
Yeah.
Till we have more time to review. Next item is abolish parent involvement coordinator position.
So why are we abolishing
Don't have a need for it.
it? And why do we have a need for it to pass?
I don't know.
Do other school districts have?
It's a vacancy that we do not need, and the board's established practice from July 1 is to abolish those vacancies that we no longer have a need for.
Well, but it was filled last year.
It possibly, it could have been, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I voted abolish it.
I need a motion to abolish.
I make a motion to abolish.
Have a motion in a second. I'll second. Motion second, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, motion carried. Last item on the agenda, board support fund student recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a request to support student recognition on a national level or regional representative. If Ms. Jude is here.